You want
Do I
to switch?
switch? Let's switch. I feel crazy. Like,
Or even.
yeah, we're about the same height. Okay, all right. All right, so hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Don Ron Show. We are here for another great episode.
That's right. That's right.
We got a few under our belts, and we're just like, we thought about it. We're like, you know what? We should probably take it back. Probably
just kind of give you a little intro on ourselves,
right. Give you a little bit of a like kind of like our origin story, right?
Exactly.
And we
Let you
got some
know
great,
basically how we got into this thing
yeah,
and why we like what we like, and basically the thing that brought us together, which is this rum and good food.
that's it. So we could start it off with we'll introduce the two rums we're going to talk about real quick today. So we've got the Mount Gay Rum, and this is the Origin series, right? So this is a box set that's coming from the Mount Gay Rum from Barbados, right?
So we got this one's a charred cask
and the virgin cask, right? And the story behind this is the kind of the sort of the blend that goes into the black barrel, which was one of the ones that was kind of my reintroduction to really exploring rum the way I love to sip it and drink it now. And then the other one is
we have here the Ron Zacapa. You got the 23. It's a blended 23, and this is a Guatemalan rum that I actually have a pretty funny story about. We'll get into, and those are going to be our rums for today.
Yeah, and so a funny little quote that that's a part of the Mount Gay series is that every great story begins with a time and a place. So the time and the place that we're going to talk about is for both of us is we kind of knew each other for years, but kind of really kind of developed this conversation and the passion for the rum. So our time and place was in the Bronx.
I would say the Bronx is what really sealed the deal, starting with cigars and actually drinking the rum to enjoy it, not just the party and go out atmosphere in New York City, but
those were our earlier days. Prior to that,
And what's really cool about origin stories is that you could be born and raised 1,000 miles away across the country, maybe in another country, and you'll have this one thing that will bring you together, and you'll have all these different similarities. So that is truly the nature of our friendship and our group as a whole.
Yeah.
So this is basically an excerpt from Mount Gay, right?
Right. Yep.
And this talks about origin stories. This talks about the origin series of the rum. And I figured this will give you a short little background on I guess like a mission statement from them.
Right. Yep. So their time and place obviously is Barbados in 1703, and the rum distillery named in honor of Sir John Gay, the man who made the imperative to improve upon the character and quality of rum. So so this is every beginning. Has there's a story to it and kind of what it all means, and then now there's interpretations and things through the years that now the tradition has been carried on, and that. Even the master distiller that made this, Alan Smith, he's moved on, and I think he's fully retired now in his life. And they have a new master distiller for Mount Gay now. So we're going to have there's going to be new interpretations that we're going to be experiencing now.
Absolutely.
So this is all kind of like part of a legacy.
Yeah.
But
this is like a snapshot in time.
Yep.
Whatever that distiller was feeling that day, whatever the weather was, whatever was going on in the economy that made them use the sugar cane and the tools and whatever it was. This is a snapshot of that specific time. So what I think is cool, as he's saying, with the next person that's coming in, you're going to have a different origin story, and they're going to be trying to stay true to the legacy, but also telling their own story by the way that they are mixing ingredients and distilling a new product.
Yeah, we said and then kind of each layer of flavoring and every kind of signature touch that they're putting on it is you could see it in these specialty things that they're putting together, right? So you're getting the charred cask, which is like a small batch. It's finished in American oak, right? And then you're going to have they're saying the virgin cask. So this is just a lightly toasted, right? So you're going to have, you can see the color difference, right? It's one. Virgin cask is a lot lighter. This one is in, the bourbon that's residuals that are still in the barrel.
Some of that essence
you're still getting to experience some of that. So I'm gonna pull. So I figure let's not wait any longer.
Yeah,
Let's
let's jump
start. Let's
into it.
say what we're talking about. So I'm gonna go from left to right. So
So now,
here.
as you're pouring, we're talking about origins. Where were you, or where? Let's say, where's your family from? What's your background?
Okay, so I am born and raised in Pittsburgh, just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hmm. That
But
explains the terrible towel you guys see
yes, yeah,
every once in a
represent every
while.
day, represent, yes, sir. Then, but also, my family's from New York.
Hmm.
But then, going deeper into that, the origins. My mom is actually from Cuba, and then my dad's family is tied throughout the South of in the U.S., probably in the Carolinas and New Orleans. So that's pretty much my background. So having that, so the Caribbean heritage,
Hmm.
that was kind of my introduction. My name actually is Ron, so Ronald, but
Hmm.
Ron is rum. It
Roman.
translates to rum in Spanish. So
So you were
this
basically born for this.
I was born for this. I
Born
was
for
born
this.
for this. Yeah. So I was selected this. Anytime I go to a different country, whatever their rum is,
Hmm.
I say, well, what's your name? I was like, my name is Ron.
Hmm.
Ron. If we say in Spanish, Ron, right?
Ron.
And I'm Ron. Then they're like, oh, Ron, such and such and such, whatever their national
Uh-huh.
rum is. So rum always has a great, is a close to my heart,
Hmm.
and definitely one of the things that makes me want to do this stuff and share with you guys because
Yeah.
this is a great thing that I feel like it's a bit of heritage and everything like that. How about you?
Absolutely. Born Brooklyn, New York. My family, father's side and my mother's side, both kind of from the South, and migrated up to New York in the early 20s and 30s. And yeah, for me, rum has always been something that I've had a taste for.
Okay.
Not to say that I was drinking underage or anything like that, but you at the family party,
Yep.
there might be a little rum on the table, a little this on the
The
table.
first drink I had with my dad was a rum and coke
Like
too. So I got you.
rum and
Yep.
coke, right? And then like coquito over the holidays.
Hmm.
That always had a little bit of Bacardi or something like that in it back in the day. So I would say even as my intro, my origin into rum, it was always like Bacardi, Puerto Rican rum. For me growing up, that was like the ultimate thing. I wanted to be able to drink a little Bacardi and have it in my coquito, or we go to City Island, have it in the pina colada. That was
Yeah.
it. If it was
Definitely,
like a
definitely,
birthday or something, you got the
yeah,
virgin pina colada, I'd be like trying to grab the adults and
yeah.
try to get a little bit of that Bacardi, that flavor.
Yep.
But definitely for me. And then going into like college years, 151. I was an animal. I was an absolute animal.
A lot of bad decisions
Yeah,
made with that in the
and
system.
even further into the future, I was an animal with the 151, but I would always mix it with root beer. 151 and root beer, that was.
Oh,
You'd be
okay.
surprised how well it mixes,
All right.
but
We're about to try that.
that's basically what I started. So big ups to Brooklyn.
Yes,
You raised
yes,
me and you made me.
yes, yes. So the same thing from the times of coming back to New York, and now we're here. So like that was New York was always my second home.
Hmm.
My dad from Long Island. So shout out to Amityville, and then my mom grew up in Brooklyn. So
Hmm.
so that was through the '80s, the '90s. I've seen it. I've been there, seen it.
Yep.
As my second home. So that's
And
kind of always that place that always drew me to eventually come out here.
hmm.
And then when we all connected through our years post college, everything like that, and became friends, family, and so here we are.
Yeah, the overlap is crazy. Because
Yes.
it's like if I wouldn't have met you back in the day, I went to school at WVU, West Virginia University, which is
Yes.
right next to
Yes.
Pittsburgh, and we
Right.
were in Pittsburgh every weekend. We
And
were
I used to shoot down the WVU because usually you guys started school before we did. So
hmm
before I shot out to Philly for Temple, we'd make the trip down to
come
Morgantown
out, hang
for
out
the weekend, come
Morgantown
hang
for
out there for the weekend. So we're looking at like we would probably we'll bring the backyard brawl back. And we may have some rivalry, the pit WVU stuff.
hmm
Get some tailgating coming soon. So that's kind of
oh
like our roots. That's our
fall,
origins. Yeah,
yeah.
that's where we come from. We basically tri-state area,
Hmm.
but we traveled around the world.
Absolutely.
We explored the ends of the earth, and
Lived
now
in
we get to
different
share with you.
countries.
And that's how this kind of came about as well. Because
Absolutely.
as we would travel around, we would go to different countries. We would try different rums. We would bring different things back. Rum wasn't the only thing, but like rum
Hmm.
was the common
That's
thread.
the common denominator, like we mentioned before. we would roll through the airport, and if we saw duty free and there was something that we never tried before, if I knew Ron had been looking for it and I'm over in this country that he's not going to be at, we're grabbing that up. That way, next time we get up, we can be able to share that experience and share, the taste of that rum or even the food. So,
Yep. And that's really how that's like the origin of the show. And now we've got a pretty crazy collection now of all the stuff that
mhm.
we've got, and now we're sharing it with you.
Yes. So,
So let's start sharing.
yeah, for sure.
so
Sharing is caring.
so let's start with this one, and it's great in color gradation, right? Because it's very light, kind
Mhm.
of caramel, and then like the dark brown. So we're gonna go kind of in that order,
Mhm.
and try it from there. So this is the virgin cask,
So,
right?
Virgin Cast, Mount Gay.
I'm gonna just read the notes of it, so that way it kind of like, well, let's just get our
Mhm.
our
Get
first
that.
opinion first.
It's got some fruity notes to it. A lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, as it should be. You
All
can
right.
taste a little bit of that oak.
Yeah, definitely taste that. So
Mm-hmm.
the pale golden hue of the virgin cask, seen at first, masks this blend's complexity and character. Finishing in lightly toasted virgin French oak cask results in a delicate, medium-bodied rum with notes of vanilla, citrus, and sweet caramel.
Mm-hmm.
It has the appropriate long finish of a well-matured rum. It's lighter. Toasting allows increased contact with the raw oak to impart the dry notes of spice and the tannins of the wood.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely get that. Like I feel like you can taste the wood.
Immediately, I think it. I mean, they're the ones that made it. They have got the great summary of exactly what it tastes like, and that's exactly what comes through.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Um, I haven't had anything else. I haven't brushed my teeth, so I feel like the taste is accurate. It's not. It's not anything that it doesn't say that it is. It's the fruitiness comes out for me. That citrus note or that fruitiness came out
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Of course, you get that vanilla, you get that heat,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
then
and the
the
caramel as
cast,
well.
yeah.
The caramel as well. So that's very nice.
Very
So
nice.
now, so I can really see how the game of blending these together to make the new product of the black barrel rum. This
Mm-hmm.
is this is like the nice base,
Yeah.
good foundation to work off of.
Mm.
All right, so now we're gonna jump to the second one, right? So now this is the charred cask, and this is finished in American bourbon oak. So this is already bourbon. Usually they're charring, and you
Mm-hmm.
see the videos of when they just got the flame, torch. I
The
guess where
torch,
the
yeah.
torch is burning out the insides of the cask. So you're gonna get that darker color,
And
that
typically, this will
smoke.
be in one of those casks for we say about 6 months or so.
Yeah.
It's not really an aged rum, but in order to penetrate the wood and to make sure that it's getting that residual bourbon and that smokiness from the char, it's going to be in those casks for at least 6 months. For that charred cask, Mount Gay.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Mm.
Oh man, glad I brought water this time because last time I was.
There's but there's not even before the aftertaste. There's a second wave of flavor that kind of hits down low.
Yeah. You
A
get a
little
little bit
like
of the almond,
blackberry
vanilla.
molasses type in the
Mm-hmm.
back.
Blackberry molasses. Sorry.
insert.
We we love R&B and karaoke, so we love to sing. So we might have to add that segment at the end of the show. We're gonna let y'all pick songs, and then we're gonna do karaoke with it. So we're gonna do that soon. So all right, so let's see what they've got here. So this is rich and amber hued charred cask is a mature blend of copper and pot distilled column distillates, which receive a long, slow finish in cask of deeply charred American oak. Casks previously used to age whiskey. The finishing imparts the blend with smoky aromatics, complemented by unexpected notes of rich fruit. The charred wood mellows the aged distillates, allowing a sweet butterscotch character to come through. That's
And I think that was that
that's
second
that's
wave
that's
for
the second
me.
wave. It's that
Yeah.
butterscotch. That's
Mm.
that
Lip smacking.
That's when grandma and grandpa give you that piece of candy from church, and they probably like, here you go, here you go. You know,
Werther's original.
yeah, some Werther's originals.
That Werther's
You get
original.
that like that's actually what that flavor is for sure, and that kind of just hits second, and then you get the smoke. And the great part about it is, right, like all of these like complex flavors, all it does is then make me just feel like I feel like the ocean breeze. Like
One
because I
thousand
think, because
percent.
it's just the way rum is known for, whether being a drink of the Navy, being things that you
Mm-hmm.
see on ships, but it's just kind of like that sort of
Vacation
vacation
vibes.
vibes,
One
right?
thousand
But
percent.
the it's like vacation vibes, right? But you thinking pineapples and all this sort of stuff. But like I'm thinking like even like just a vacation vibes with class, though. You know what I mean? Like because I
Oh,
feel
one
like it's
thousand
always just
percent.
a party thing as a party drink, but this is
Mm-hmm.
just a very complex
Yeah, no, this
sipping.
is this is a totally different vibe when it comes to these, especially starting from the virgin cask. Even that one is a nice sharp rum that you could just drink neat. That's not something that I feel like you have to kind of mask the flavor of it of the rum by
Mm-hmm.
mixing it with something else.
Yep.
And then when you get to that charred cask, it adds the character of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
That one is where you start getting that sense and that feel like you want to be on vacation,
Yep.
that you want to be somewhere where you're in sunlight and you're listening
Yeah.
to
Definitely.
happy music and all those different things. So these definitely are contrasts, but they're very much the same in that they are higher end type of pour, higher end type of sip,
Yep.
and really good flavor with them.
Yeah. So I think again in talking about the like the as we're doing this and exploring this too, like we're learning at the same time, right? So like a lot of this stuff I'm reading, I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
like pulling notes. I've got some great books that I've been reading now. That
Books,
I got books, baby. I
got
got books
books.
on drinking. You ever think you would be reading books on drinking? You know, but I think the very interesting thing is that the other ingredient that's very big in the rums and the things that we're trying is the water,
Oh,
right? So
for sure.
the diversity, like they, I think if I remember correctly, with Barbados, they're sitting on like volcanic, like the stone is, it's very porous,
Mm-hmm.
and so they have like they have
Natural
well they're using
filtration.
well water, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a natural filtration, right? And then their source is a sugarcane molasses,
Mm.
right? They have very minimal color added, and they have no sugar added as well, right? So this is
So you're
all the
everything you
flavor you're
get.
getting is from the molasses, the barrels,
Mm-hmm.
and then the distillation process, right? So they have it's the copper pot
Mm-hmm.
and then the stills.
So there's
So
nothing added. This is just all their natural ingredients going into this rum for their production. And then they're getting their coloration from the sugarcane, from the
yep.
molasses, from the distillate. So
And they say like one of the interesting facts like that I'm sharing with you all that you can look into is like they don't disclose the percentages, but some say 250 barrels go into a batch for the bottling.
250 barrels of rum.
So just so you know, like that's that part that this isn't like factory made. Like you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like this is like you got what you got,
And that's
right?
it.
And one of the really dope things that I noticed when I actually got to visit the distillery and went to St. Lucy's and kind of got to meet with Alan and go. Everybody showed me
Mm-hmm.
so much love out there. Appreciate y'all. Um, they actually now that they're falling under the umbrella of like Remy Quattro, like so that's
Oh, really?
yeah. So what I've noticed is I think this is new, but I just noticed it while we were out there when we were driving through is the dope thing is that they because it's a French company now that owns it, but
Mm-hmm.
they are the sugar cane fields are are marked out in blocks and lots, so that
Mm.
now you're the sourcing is from this spot, right?
So
Like so
they
you
know
could
exactly. You can
that
narrow it
I would
down.
assume that probably in future bottlings and future like blends and stuff, you'll see that you could go to the earth
Mm-hmm.
from where your rum came from, right? You know what I
Interesting.
mean? Which is like similar to the way you get the block and lots for where wine grapes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So you know exactly what you're dealing
What
with.
you?
Kind of just
Yeah.
that kind of tells that again. that's the origins, right? That's the
Mm.
start, right? When you start in the dirt, the soil cultivates, it grows the sugar cane, it's harvested, and
Hmm.
then it goes through the sugar making process. The molasses is the byproduct, and then they taking that molasses and now crafting something absolutely
You know what?
amazing.
I love that idea of them doing it that way because now if you want to come in as your own private label, it's not guesswork. It's not that as much guesswork in trying to figure out how do I get that flavor profile
Right,
when they could go back and say, well, this that you're drinking here, this batch, because most of these are batched, they're numbered, comes from this particular field, comes from this particular harvest at this particular time. And if you wanted to be able to kind of recreate that, when that field is producing sugarcane again and it comes time to reclaim that to produce your product, you're going to get closer to being where you want to be as your own private label.
yep. So all right, so that's the story. So
Those are the first two.
so
Now
those
we
two
have,
blend, and let's go to our third because this is our one that we shared. Now we're coming from the Caribbean, right? So if you can picture, I'll give you some edit where it's like Barbados is on the farthest island out. It is the gateway of the Caribbean, really. It's the
yes.
furthest out into the Atlantic, right? So you got that island. Now we're gonna go through to all the way to the other side now and head to the mainland to Central America
Hmm.
to Guatemala.
Yeah, basically, if you look at the Gulf as just a big circle,
The Gulf of
the
what?
Caribbean Sea,
Woo!
well, the
Set
Gulf
it
of
off.
Mexico because
The
it
Gulf of
follows
who?
the Gulf of America. Sorry, sorry, Girl. Gulf of America. Woo! If you come see, I tried to keep it neutral.
I know. I just
You want
messing
me to
with you,
walk
messing
into
with
it.
you. I'm walking through.
But
Yeah.
as you follow the Gulf all the way down around the Caribbean islands to the northern part of South America and around the Central America, you'll find a little piece of land with ocean on both sides, where you have Guatemala, and that is exactly where Ron Zacapa originated. Its origin, because it's since been sold and it's no longer Guatemalan owned. However, 23-year-old blended. It is their Sistema Solera, and it is my personal one of my personal favorites, and one that we continuously go back to because we go to Guatemala several times a year every year. So
He's married to
I'm
Guatemala right
married. I'm
now.
I'm in the game. I'm married to the game. So
Yes.
okay, I'll actually while you're into the book to get some information from us, I'll tell you how I even started with this. Being that my wife is Guatemalan, and this is something that we see all the time. Insert the name for it and everything here. Um, I saw this one day. We went to the liquor store, and I was actually in a phase where I was making moonshine. And on one of those days when I was looking for some moonshine or looking for a base for my moonshine, I found this bottle. And back then, the bottle was only like a $15 bottle. It wasn't expensive. And I noticed that it was a 23-year-old rum. So in my head, I'm saying, how is there a 23-year-old rum that's only like 15 bucks? This doesn't make any sense. And being that my wife was there and I saw like the little rattan covering, I told her, I was like, look, I think this is Guatemalan rum. This looks like something made by your people. It's so cheap. It's only $15. I was like, we can go to the source. And it turned out that day when I bought it and brought it home that it was probably one of the best sipping rums at that time that I had ever had. And from then, I fell in love. There's different variations. Once again, you go to duty free. There's always some kind of a special edition that you can find. There's everything from them creating a horticulture garden around their batches, so it kind of infused the I guess the vibe or the feel of the flowers and the pollen, the cross pollination, there's all kinds of different things that they do here with this, and we've actually done an XO, and we've done
Just that.
just
That's
the
this.
XO
So
of this
yeah,
version.
this is our first
So
step.
this will be a nice contrast because with that XO, the XO didn't do very good against the other rums that we tried that day,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of interesting.
So
But
we'll see
this is
how
like
this one
their
does.
yeah, this is like basically their base. This is where they start.
And you know, one of the interesting things, again, like going back and looking at, we'll probably be fact checking ourselves as we come through this stuff, right? So
Hmm.
the 23 in it. Like it's really number 23 versus the age. I think even the age is even less than that.
It's
I think it's
technically
like six,
less.
but it's blends of multiple ages
Yeah.
that they balance out to craft this great thing. But
Hmm.
the 23 is actually for the
The
altitude
altitude.
at which
Hmm.
they produce is at
The
2,300
23rd
feet or
latitude or whatever it
2,300 feet
is.
above sea
Sea
level.
level.
Yeah, so they're that. But so quick sources. So same thing. So this is obviously the location is in Guatemala that it's distilled in.
Hmm.
The water comes. They have natural private wells, so they're using wells as well for
They
their
got well
water,
water on that.
right? The source is going to be fresh, first crushed virgin sugar cane, right? So
Mm.
they're actually using the sugar cane juice
So as
versus
opposed to
as
using the
opposing the
molasses.
molasses, correct? Right? It's distilled in a column, and they use the white American oak, and then once recharged, so they actually using with their aging system, they're using oak, sherry, and of course, and the Solera aging system. So now
Hmm.
we've experienced already what the sherry. So this is obviously a Spanish style,
Exactly.
right? Process, and we got to actually taste what we did the previous episode with the Ron Abuelo for
Hmm.
the sherry cask of what that was like. So that was actually ended up being my favorite. So that again
Kind of.
reiterates why that's my favorite. Now the one thing is now don't hate us because we love use Zacapa. It's
Mm.
actually I think the Master Distillers even they actually for both of these now. It's Women's History Month as well. When I don't know if they'll come out during that time, but I
Hmm.
think these are both the Master Distillers are women
Our women,
from
yes.
from both from both companies now. So that's something to add.
So
Um,
we're all about women empowerment. We
yeah,
father of daughters,
yes, girl dads all
girl
day.
dads.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
And they say that what they're saying here in this book that I got is like the color is a caramel only when required to standardize,
Hmm.
and then they do add sugar into this, so
Okay.
there is some
So
sweetener
there
into
is some
this.
sweetener. So I guess.
I like sugar. I'm a recovering sugar addict, so you probably that's how you got me. So I said, but again, these are the things of now that this also is one of the very popular and mass produced rums, right? So
Yeah,
now
absolutely. This
this
is
is a
their
this
this is
is
their
like
starting point.
this is a bigger
Hmm.
this is their start. So this is like their baseline. This is their standard. You'll find that you can find this at many bars throughout the
Absolutely.
states very
Verse when
easily.
it first came out,
It was not easy to find.
it was not easy to find at all, which to me is what kind of fed into this notion that this is a 23-year-old and not really understanding what the information on the bottle was telling me. Just like we were talking about the Solera, which is the aging process. This is basically telling you that it's the Solera system, the way that it's aged. This is also gluten free for those that have a little gluten allergy.
I've got this because this is actually why. So this is one of my favorites. I got it. I even brought. I was like, I don't know why we have this, but why I have this here is because this is like my house rum. Like this is what I
Hmm.
drink on a regular if I'm just coming home from work.
So when
This is
you
my sipping rum in the evening, and so I have it just whenever I just dump it out the bottle, put it right into a
you
decanter.
have your
Just
fancy
when I want to get my
decanter.
fancy my Don Draper on, you know what I mean, and I want to do that. So that's where that kind of comes from. So
So let's dive right
let's
into
dive in.
that.
Yep, let's
So
taste this now.
now the funny thing is now after having the Bacardi Black Label, I'm aware of like that Coke, that rum and Coke pre-blended
Yeah.
type feel and
Wow.
vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting that? Because
Yes, right off the
right
bat.
off the bat.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that's that taste of probably that caramel add to
Hmm.
it, right? So there's probably something in there that is.
Now the other thing I'll say is I usually drink this with ice, and I let that ice open it up,
Well, I
let
think
it
we're gonna try
breathe.
that next. That was gonna be
Hmm.
my thought process. We'll just try
Just
some.
have
We'll pick
it
which one
drink
we
it on
want
the
on ice.
side.
Yeah, we'll do our rating, and then we'll.
So now with this, what I would say is you don't get that subtle sweetness because the sweetness is so upfront. You don't get like the fruitiness or the citrus that you get, especially with that virgin cask. What you do get with this, I think, even though it's not using molasses, I'm getting the heavy molasses flavor, which I think is
Yep.
kind of interesting because it's using just the that first run of sugarcane juice, but it might be coming from the
It's coming
added.
from the, well, it could just be even coming from the process, right, of making
Hmm.
it, right? So you're getting it blended, the years and the aging in the barrel. So that's probably where some of the similarities is
Hmm.
that's the the atmosphere, the air that inside of the barrels is actually adding those other ingredients that are giving that flavor that we're talking
Hmm.
about.
So doesn't change anything for me. Like I said, when I'm home and I'm just casually just having a drink after work while I'm grilling some food up for dinner, this is like an easy go to.
Yep.
This one, has all the memories attached to it of, when I first found it and family functions and
Yep.
things like that.
And you don't, and it's the same, and it's probably even part of that too. Is like that when it's a sipping one that you don't need to add a Coke to it. You don't need to drink soda. You don't need
Hmm.
to add those added things. That makes it easier just to put it on ice,
Yeah,
sip slow because it goes down smooth, and just enjoy it.
absolutely.
All
Especially
right.
when you don't want to drink up all your good stuff.
Right. So yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why I said this is the house one.
Hmm.
This one definitely is is great, and we definitely enjoy that one a lot. So that's a go to favorite, and it's readily accessible. Like I'm talking, even people have asked me about rums to recommend. That one I can tell them, and they can get it in various kind of areas that
Hmm.
aren't like major metropolitan cities and stuff like that. So that means it has good distribution.
Yeah, you're not fighting. And actually, I will use this in my coquito, and I will use this in my pina coladas over the summertime.
Yep.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I make the best pina coladas ever in life.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
put that. He's the coquito
I make
guy.
the best coquito, I'll say.
I got pina
Award
coladas
winning.
on lock. All right,
so
you're just gonna have to come
so
by and try it for yourself.
that's it. That's it. Now we said we try to blend it all together, then we might have a problem. All right, so let's hit it with our ratings.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Um, Starting
so
with the
which?
virgin cask.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny enough the one that I finished all
All
of.
of it. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I really enjoyed the flavor of it. I really love the citrus that came out first. The vanilla and the sweetness. It did all the things that I would like for a night where I'm, really just trying to I don't know, get right, get in the mood, and just enjoy my relaxation time. So I would say this one's a high one for me. This one today, right now, I would give like a 4.7.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I would give that a 4.7.
All right. So for me, I like that one. It's very, again, this is one of my favorite brands and go to. So I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Okay.
All right. So that one's gonna be a 4. So I can give room because for my next one is my favorite one. So I'm gonna go
Okay.
with that. Yeah.
So,
And I can tell why this is like blended to make one of my favorites as well. So, but I'm
mhm.
gonna give that one a 4. Okay.
Charred cask,
Chard cask. What you got?
which we're not comparing them to each other. We're individual rating.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this because it gave me the feel of being on vacation. It's the first thing that popped in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sunshiny days,
Yep.
Caribbean breeze, a little music in the background.
Yep.
Um, Coming back to it, I'm probably gonna say somewhere around this one. I would give a 4. This
Okay.
one I would keep it at a high level, but this one is going to be the same as some other ones that I like. A lot of Dominican rums that I like, some Nicaraguan ones that I like. This one kind of stays in that realm.
All right. So this one, that's why I was giving this one the room to get to it because I'm gonna put this one like a 4 5
Hmm.
in terms of where that this is. It's a step above obviously this one,
Hmm.
and I know the correlation of the two, but I think just that char again,
That extra personality
it gives
from.
that, yeah, it gives that additional flavor to it,
Hmm.
and I think it's like it's one of those things that kind of even when we talk about why we're even doing this is because we grew into as we became older men, we were like always drinking whiskey, bourbon, scotch. Those are the things, and I think this is the ones that can stand in the same realm with those
Mm-hmm.
of
Help with that
like
transition.
yeah, of that's what I would have to sip on ice, neat in an old fashioned,
I
and
was just about to say
if
that
I'm
that
gonna
would be
have
my
that with a
go-to.
cigar, like it stands in that realm, all of
Yeah.
those things, and I think rum doesn't always get mentioned
Mm-hmm.
in those circles, but I feel like that's definitely that one.
For sure. And you took the words right out of my mouth. Old fashioned.
Yeah,
If
for
I'm
sure.
yeah, if we're going there with it, that's exactly where I would be.
Okay, now the last
Um
one is the Zacapa.
Now, even though I do have a bias, and this one is my go-to rum, I'm not going to bias rate it because I just want to be realistic about the ratings, and just because it may not be the best rum it might not be the five, I'm still going to drink it because this is
Yep,
what I enjoy drinking.
yep.
After having that Trinidadian rum that we had when we did our perfect steak episode, uh, that kind of
Oh yeah,
changed
that
my
mess.
whole
That's
that messed up the whole flavor of
yep.
everything because I wasn't expecting it, and that one is a younger rum. Once again, not comparing them side by side, but it changes the frame of the game
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're talking about ratings on them. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say four. I'm gonna say 4.3. Not
Okay.
quite over the hump to like a 4.5. Higher than a four. I'm gonna say 4.3. I feel good with that.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna be right. So about like 4.25 for me. Like that. That's
Hmm.
kind of like the same place. Like again, the nostalgia for us. Like this. This was one it's kind of popped up on my radar
Hmm.
at various stages of my life. Like, I mean, when I was maybe coming out of college, I tried it at like when they came under the Diageo umbrella.
Hmm.
I was at an event for that, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" Like, you know what I mean?
This
Like,
is
I was like,
really
out of
good
all the
rum.
stuff in the room, this one stood out. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Whenever like I said, we've been traveling, and when I can accessibility to this means a lot too, right? Because it's like you
Absolutely.
can, if I'm, I've had this when I've gone to Miami, to New Orleans, to California, to Chicago, New York, wherever I go, I can have this. So it's something it's
Hmm.
reliability that
You
I
have
can
your go-to
enjoy.
drink.
It's
Yeah.
a go to that I know I will enjoy it. I mean,
Hmm.
it's dangerous. I think I've finished too many times, finished the bottle easily. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so I'm gonna go with a 4.25 for that one. Just because it checks a lot of the boxes now. Like the pure. I'm not the rum purist.
Hmm.
Will probably foo
Oh,
foo a lot of this, but
I,
it still does what it needs to do. You know what I
yes.
mean? So we
Absolutely.
got we have kind of both ends of the spectrum here of what we're talking about, and I definitely like it like that. So that
Yeah.
I'm going with that one.
Right. So there you have it. We've got our Mount Gay Origin collection. We have our Guatemalan Zacapa, our 23 System Solera, and those are the ratings. If you guys have any suggestions for a Ron or a Mount Gay or any other rum that you would like for us to try, you make sure you send it in, put it in the comments, and let us know.
Yep, like, comment, subscribe,
There you
all of
go.
these things right here, and thank y'all for joining us again. This is just our origin stories. We wanted to kind of kick it back today and talk about how we got here, what kind of brought us together to do
Hmm.
this. Just two dads and what we enjoy and we want to share with you. So thank you for joining us, taking some time out of your busy schedules,
For sure.
and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.
Peace.